Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube NFL prediction segment, I'm going to be giving you my picks and analysis for Week 17 of the 2015 NFL season. The first game is I'm going to be taking the Jets on the road over the Buffalo Bills. The Jets have been on a rampage lately. They've won 5 consecutive. Marcus Williams has been a great surprise, 6 interceptions. They've allowed the fewest rushing touchdowns this season, and Brandon Marshall is having really a stupendous season, and they're trying to solidify a playoff spot. And Buffalo, yes, they've dominated the Jets in recent time, and I think Rex Ryan would like nothing more than to perhaps derail the Jets' playoff hopes. But I just don't think it's going to happen. The Jets have a little more incentive. They have a little bit more to play for. They are in a roll, and I do believe they will get this job done in Buffalo. Now, the next game, I'm going to take the New England Patriots on the road to defeat the Miami Dolphins. Now, New England rarely loses consecutive games. I know they did one time this season. I think it would be really hard pressed to think they're going to do that consecutive times in one season. Now, New England, they have 48 defensive sacks. We always talk about the offense and Brady and what Gronkowski has done, and I mean the offense is vulnerable, but the defense has played very well at the same time. They have 22 forced fumbles, and Miami is just 2-5 at home. They have not really looked that good. Really the number 24 in their pass defense. I think it could be a very long day for that pass defense, and I do like New England to win this one on the road against Miami. Now, Carolina, I'm going to take them at home over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Carolina is perfect at home this season. I know they lost last week. I see that as an aberration. Carolina also, I mean, they have 22 interceptions. The defense has been has played really exceptional this season. And also, when their scoring offense has been very good as well. Cam Newton, I think and company are going to bounce back this week. Tampa Bay, the running back Doug Martin has had a very good season, 13 rushes over 20 yards. That is number one for any running back in the league. And they have the thing is they have really the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to have to create more opportunities, I think, on defense. If I'm not mistaken, they've just created one turnover in the last 5 games. So if they could do that, they'll have a shot against Carolina, maybe a puncher's chance, but that's all I give them. They've also been floundering lately. They've lost 4 of their last 5 games. I don't see, there's no way for me to envision Tampa Bay winning this game. I like Carolina to win this at home. Next game. I'm going to take the Atlanta Falcons to win at home over the New Orleans Saints. Atlanta, they've got their swagger after defeating Carolina. They're going for a winning record this season. They're 8-7 right now. They want to finish with that winning record. And the thing is, Atlanta has the fewest sacks right now. They do need to get to Drew Brees and company to help them increase their chance of winning in this game, I believe. And right now, New Orleans is number 1 in passing yards per game, but as many of you may know, they can't stop anybody. They've given up nearly 31 points per game, and that defense is really has been abysmal to say the least. And for that reason especially, I do like Atlanta to win this one. Atlanta is at home. Atlanta, I'm going to take over the Saints. Now, the next game, I'm going to take the Cincinnati Bengals at home to win over the Baltimore Ravens. Cincinnati's 5-2 at home this season. I don't know what's going to be happening with the quarterback situation. I don't think Andy Dalton's going to play. A.J. McCarron is questionable, his status as of right now. However, they have they have one of the better scoring defenses in the league. They've only given up 17.5 points per game. That's number 1 in the NFL. I think the defense will play well enough to win this game. Baltimore, On the other hand, in contrast, is tied for the fewest interceptions with 6 in the NFL. The ravenous defense I've talked about before is obviously not here anymore. They lost in the head-to-head. They've lost the last 4 to Cincinnati, but the last 3 have been by 7 points or less. So this may be a little more competitive game than others may anticipate, and also that's also dependent on if Cincinnati has to go to a third-string quarterback. This could be a game maybe decided by like 7 points, perhaps. But I do like the Bengals to win at home. Now the next game, I'm going to take the Pittsburgh Steelers on the road to defeat the Cleveland Browns. Now, Pittsburgh, they're 9-2 in the last 11 versus Cleveland, and the playoffs are on the line. I think there will be a lot of urgency in this particular game. They're number 5 in passing yards per game. Big Ben may have a very good day against the Cleveland Browns. Cleveland being 2-9 in the last 11 versus the Steelers, and in only 2 of those losses, they scored over 10 points against the Steelers. So they're also dead last in rushing yards allowed. I think Pittsburgh may run rampant on this team, and I do like Pittsburgh to win on the road over Cleveland. Now the next game, I'm going to take the Houston Texans to win at home over the Jacksonville Jaguars. I don't want to make the same mistake I made in consecutive weeks by not picking Houston. Houston's another team that's been relentless. They have played very well lately. They've won 6 of 8. Last 2 by a combined 50-16 score. And to me, I think it's irrelevant who's going to be starting this week for quarterback. Tennessee, I don't know what this team. It just seems like they're not able to really do anything right now. Quarterback Zach Mettenberger is 0-9, I believe, his career record. They haven't ruled out Marcus Mariota completely. If he plays, it might make the game a little bit closer. Tennessee Titans are actually the 32 turnovers are the worst in the NFL. They have at least 1 turnover I believe in every game this season, and the Titans have lost 13 of the last 14 to Indianapolis. I don't see them winning this game. I'm a Tennessee Titans fan, but just being honest and objective, they'd be hard-pressed to win this one. And especially the Indy still has a chance to make the postseason. So I do like the Indianapolis Colts to win at home. Now the next game, I'm going to take the Kansas City Chiefs to win at home over the Oakland Raiders. Now, Kansas City, they've won 9 consecutive. They've outscored their opponents 255-111 in the process during that streak. Marcus Peters is having a really stellar season with 8 interceptions. And now you have the Oakland Raiders. Okay, it's a divisional game. I understand that. And their offense has been adequate. They've averaged nearly 23 per game. They've rotated on wins and losses the last 5 weeks. So I think the fact that they won last week, well, it's time to lose again. In Kansas City, although they may have clinched their playoff berth, they still may need to win to just maybe be number 5 as opposed to number 6. So there is some incentive and there is something to play for in this particular game. So I'm going to take the Kansas City Chiefs to win at home. Now, the next game, I'm going to take the Washington Redskins to win on the road over the Dallas Cowboys. I understand the Redskins have clinched the NFC East. They've won 4 or 5. They've had a great combination with Kirk Cousins and Jordan Reed. Kirk Cousins' his completion percentage is 69.5, and it is, he is really, close to a phenomenal season, and especially based on whatever expectations were of him. I believe he superseded them by a lot. And you look at this Washington Redskins team, even though they've clinched the NFC East in their playoff position, they still would like to finish with a winning record, I believe, and don't want to lose that rhythm and momentum they have. And in Dallas right now, they're 1-6 at home this season, 1-10 without Tony Romo. Their minus 18 turnover differential is the worst in the NFL. Their running back, if they could get things going with that, they have a shot to win this game. I just don't see it happening. I think Washington is just that much. They're just better, so much better in my mind right now from personal standpoint. And I do like the Redskins to win on the road in this one. Now, I'm going to take the New York Giants to win at home over the Philadelphia Eagles in an insignificant game as far as any playoff possibilities go. These teams are eliminated from any postseason possibility. However, the Giants right now are playing for pride. They were subjugated last week at the hands of the Minnesota Vikings, and I think I see them bouncing back and going out at home, winning this one. Now, Philadelphia has given up 78 points in the last two games. They've given up nearly 27 points per game this season. Now, and to say that running back DeMarco Murray was a disappointment this season would be a vast understatement. And the Giants right now, to me, as I stated with the pride, they want to go out this season a winner. I believe they are at home. They don't want to disappoint their fans, and Philadelphia is just not playing that well. And really, on virtue of being at home, I do like the New York Giants to win this game. Now, the next game, I'm going to take the Detroit Lions to win on the road over the Chicago Bears. The Detroit Lions are 5-2 in their last 7 games. What I think is very interesting, okay, you had Detroit with their coaching staff revamped, and they have really been excellent since that transpired. But when I look at these two teams, what I thought was interesting, I looked at the kickoff return average for both teams. And Detroit was number 1 at nearly 29 yards per game per return on average, as far as the average kickoff return. And Chicago was number 3 at nearly 27 yards per return average. So this field positioning may figure immensely in this particular game. And Chicago, just being 1-6 at home, they've lost 3 of 4. They didn't look overly impressive last week. And to me, right now, I think Detroit has this momentum, and I do see them winning this game. They're just playing better than Chicago right now, and I like Detroit to win at home on the road. Now, I'm going to take the Green Bay Packers to win at home over the Minnesota Vikings. Green Bay, though that they maybe lost some aura of near invincibility at home, they are 5-2 at home this season. And what's interesting, these two teams both only have 15 turnovers. So really, turnover difference in games can figure prominently in many football games. But I think in this particular one, it's even more important than average, because since they don't turn the ball average, whoever wins that turnover battle in this particular game, I do see the likelihood is very strong of that team winning. Quarterback Aaron Rodgers has been somewhat sporadic lately. However, you look at Minnesota; they're not nearly as good on the road as they are in their home. They do have their weapon with running back Adrian Peterson, and the quarterback Bridgewater has played very well. And I heard somewhere that Minnesota was tired of Green Bay winning the division and everything. I understand that. Minnesota, the fact that Green Bay has not really been that consistent in recent weeks, and they got plastered last week, it gives Minnesota some hope. I see this being a competitive game, but I do like Green Bay to win a close one at home. Now, I like Denver to win at home over the San Diego Chargers. Now, Denver, right now, the defense is playing well enough to keep this team perhaps a legitimate contender to possibly come out of the AFC. Now, the Denver Broncos are, as far as their total defense, they're number 1 in total defense, number 2 rush, and then number 1 in pass defense right now. Now, whether Peyton Manning plays or another quarterback, I just feel that it's not really going to matter, because San Diego has been floundering. They're 1-6 right now on the road. They've dropped 3 of their last 4. Quarterback Philip Rivers is having a season where he just compiling these prodigious passing numbers, but it's just not enough to win these games for this team. So that really doesn't matter. He could throw for 300 yards in this game, and I think they're still likely going to lose. So for those reasons, I do like Denver to win at home in this one. Now, I like the Arizona Cardinals to win at home over the Seattle Seahawks. Now, when I was looking at this earlier, I took note that, a lot of the outcome might be predicated on what happens in the Carolina game. If Carolina wins, which they probably will, they would have their position locked up, and Arizona would have theirs, and there wouldn't be any need to play their starters that much in the game. From what I understand, in some report I saw online or something, it stated, I thought that, I mean, based on what I saw, that the coach was adamant about starting his players regardless of what happens in that Carolina game. So for that reason, I do like Arizona to win. Seattle, being on the road, Seattle, it really it got swept by St. Louis by losing to them at home last week. And Seattle, though they were on a little good run before the St. Louis game, to me just doesn't quite seem like that same championship caliber team. And really, Seattle is only 2-3 versus the division this season. I was a little surprised when I saw that stat. Arizona at home, they took, if I remember right, they took care of Seattle earlier this season, and I think that they'll take care of business again, and they want to go into the playoffs with some momentum. So I like Arizona to win at home. Now, last but not least, I'm going to take the St. Louis Rams to prevail on the road over the San Francisco 49ers. Now, St. Louis has won 3 consecutive games. It's interesting is that they have 19 rushes for over 20 yards, and really the team defensively they've come on strong in recent weeks. In that 3-game winning streak they now have, they've only on average given up 18 points per game, which I thought very impressive. San Francisco's number 32 in scoring offense, 14.6 points per game. And they've allowed 19 rushing touchdowns, and they're also number 28 in rushing yards allowed at nearly 126 per game. So St. Louis could be running rampant against this team all day. I think St. Louis has a chance to go out winning 4 consecutive games, and I think they like to do that and finish the season on a very high note. And San Francisco, well, there really hasn't been many high notes for them all season, I guess. So I'm going to take the Rams to win on the road. Well, anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube NFL prediction segment for Week 17 picks of the 2015 NFL season. And stay tuned next time where I'll be giving you my picks and analysis for the wild card round. And anyway, people, Edwin Learnard saying, stay well.